I was working on my business. Now I'm much more in my business, and I can tell you not only is it more profitable, but it is so much more fulfilling.
This is the Badass Women of Real Estate podcast, where we meet badass women of real estate who lead, inspire, and have massive positive impact on their communities. I'm Sara Kalke, and I'm obsessed with real-life stories of grit, courage, and action. The example of all these badass women gives us all the hope and borrowed belief that if she can, we all can. Today, we have Brittney, Pino, the absolute badass real estate agent, coming to us from Baton Rouge, Louisiana as RE/MAX First. Welcome, Brittney.
Hi.
We'll begin with my first question, which is how do you explain what you do if you're telling someone who's not in the industry?
Well, I think that answer is pretty simple. I help people buy houses. I help people sell houses. My goal in every one of those transactions is to make the process as smooth and seamless as possible for my clients, representing their best interest, protecting their best interest, and helping them, move from point A to point B.
I believe women should brag a little now and then. What are your most recent successes?
In end of 2018, early 2019, I did completely restructure my team and or business model. I am much more hands-on in my business now than I was before, and 2019 was a very new model for me, but was a kick-ass year. My new model is geared more towards the client experience versus before. I had a heavy focus on the growth and development of all the agents on my team and their individual successes, and it served them well, but I really wanted more for my clients. In 2019, I served nearly as many families as I did when I had a large team. And my clients are much happier, I believe, with this model because they get to work with me directly. And my team, quote unquote, now is more admin who supports my goals to give my clients the highest client experience.
I love that. That's a big transition and a really huge one to make when you've poured your heart and soul into agents and a team for a while, and to shift gears. I speak with agents all the time and they talk about, you have to build a team, you have to have this huge team. This year sounds like your profit has actually been higher, being a lot more hands-on in your business than it was running a big team and organization. Is that right?
It is. I was working on my business a lot more, certainly did still deal with my clients, but now I'm much more in my business, and I can tell you not only is it more profitable, but it is so much more fulfilling. I'm in it with my clients and, building those relationships and taking care of them versus just being management, coaching, mentor, leading, guiding, and investing in individual agents. I am, like I said, more client focused.
That's a huge shift to make. And in a very short time, you went from focusing on agents to focusing more on clients. What did you do? What were some action steps?
What I did was what I had always done, prior to starting a team. I was, an individual agent for many, many years and built a very profitable and very successful business prior to hiring in agents. And when I did take them in, I would coach and mentor and show them the way, how to do that, how to build a successful business. When I had the team and I was focused so much on their growth and development, then transitioning back into it, it was just doing the things that I taught, doing the things that I did before, just getting back to the basics. In this business, it is a relationship business. I have the track record, I have the experience, and it's really about getting back in there and doing the things, doing the work, talking with the people, marketing. And of course I opened some new things, kind of rolled out some new things in my business, which would have been doing a lot more of the video and just being much more on the ground level with my clients, one-on-one with them. They will not be handed off to anyone. I have a team of support, but they're there to support me more behind the scenes so that my clients get what they want, which is they want me dealing with it, whatever it is that they're dealing with. And so I think when you rebuild or when you're building, trying to start and grow a business, getting in there and doing the things. I mean, I'll hold the open houses, I'll show the buyers, taking time on afternoons and weekends, and really just diving back in and recommitting myself to doing everything it takes to serve my clients at the absolute highest level.
How did you become such a badass? What did you overcome to give you such strength and the ability to just crush it this year?
I feel like I was born a leader, and that little girl with just checklists, always wrote things down and very goal oriented from a very young age. And as far as being a leader, going on a family vacation, if we were skiing on the hill, then I'm the one at 11 years old with the trail map and saying, okay, we're going to take this trail and we're going to do this, and my family's following. It's always been just in me. It's not like being bossy. I guess I feel like when I am guiding or leading, that taps into that part of me that feels that I'm helping or giving back, which is what I'm very, very passionate about, helping others. And so that grit and passion in me, it's just that go get it personality, I guess, that I was just born with. And so whatever it is that I set my mind to, I go after it.
In real estate and the real estate industry right now, we talk a lot about disruption, and a lot of the talk about disruption is really like it's this scary and awful thing, but I really like focusing on the flip side of things. So tell me, in that context, what's the most exciting development you see coming for the real estate industry?
When I started in real estate, there was far less technology than we have now. And I love all of the technology that helps us to do so much more at such a faster pace. Before, when I started, there was, I didn't have a smartphone. It was analog, and I didn't have electronic signature, and all these things are already here. But I love the technology that's been added and added and added. And, I don't focus too heavily on disruptors or I feel like it's just noise. Those tools that have been added, I use the tools that I feel are helpful to me and helpful to make the experience for my client better. Susie and Joe Smith, who are having a baby and need to sell their 2-bedroom condo and move into a detached single-family 3-bedroom home and are looking for guidance. It's a relationship business. Those people want to ultimately work with someone they know, they like, they trust, and it's about the people, it's about the relationships. And so with all of those things that are coming in and disrupting and all that, I'm sure there will be a portion of the market that will utilize those things, but there will never, I don't think people will ever be replaced. And I say people, I mean the agents, the ones on the ground who are in it day in, day out, and have the experience to navigate these processes and negotiations and all of the things that happen. I can't imagine that ever it's not able to be replaced. And everything that it's funny because it's like full circle, because everything that they come up with, they're trying to be more and more human-like. But here I am, I'm human, and I can help you without being like a computer trying to be a human. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know of any one big thing that, as far as, big exciting new development that's happening. I don't think there's a new magic pill. I think it will always be about the people and the relationships, and all of the extra things are tools and noise and things like that. So I take it with a grain of salt and use the things that I feel are helpful to me and my clients, and the rest to just kind of let it go.
What is one space or area outside of real estate where you borrow inspiration and motivation from?
Music is very much a go-to for me. For just it awakens my soul. It is motivating. It helps with my energy and just makes me feel almost invincible. Just so much power. It's very empowering, whether it be the lyrics or just the beat of the music. And depending on my mood, I mean, I love every genre of music. So music is a big one for me. Also, God and prayer, Bible, those are things that I'll tend to revert to when I'm needing it. And then, great philosophers, just people who really go deeper, give a deeper meaning of life and really challenge the way that we look at things, different perspective. And I have a huge library of books. And so sometimes I'll go there, some really great books, and kind of thumb through those to pull out motivation or inspiration. That wasn't one thing, but those are my things, where I pull. That's outside of real estate.
If you had magic powers, what is one limiting belief you see out there, especially amongst women, that you would get rid of?
Wow. I think that the absolute most limiting belief is the belief that you're limited. Period. I think that if you want something bad enough, you can do anything. And so for anyone to think that they are limited, I think is limiting. You're in your own way. You can only get in your own way. Because I believe that if you believe it and you want it bad enough, you can do it.
To wrap up, we like to do 10 rapid fire questions. Just say the first thing that comes to your head. Number 1, when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a veterinarian, which is so funny because I own no pets. The one I own, I'm like, what did I get myself into? I would not do that today. But when I was little, that I had an infinite love for animals.
Wanted to be a vet. I didn't know that about you. Number 2, what was the hardest part about being a girl?
I have never really thought things in that way. It's hard because I'm a girl, or it's easy because you're a guy, or whatever. That's just not really ever been in my thought process, just in life. Like I said, if I feel like there's something that I really want, if I am capable or I can learn it, whatever it is, I believe that with the drive and the grit and the passion that I can, or anybody can do whatever they want. You just got to go for it. I don't believe I was limited being a girl. Maybe I was, but I was oblivious to it.
Number 3, high school. Did you love it or hate it?
I did not hate high school, but I wouldn't say that I loved it either. I don't really think that I embraced high school like a lot of people, where I wasn't involved in the Friday night lights or being a cheerleader, dancer, and just being in that moment. My sights were set on I'm ready to my wings to fly. I'm just ready to spread my wings and fly. I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to start my life. I just always felt like it was this thing I just had to check off my list. I'm ready for it to be over. I had great friends and, had some fun, but I wouldn't say I hated it. I was ready for it to be done.
Number 4, what women did you look up to as a kid?
Women who were accomplishing great things would just get my attention, whether it be the movie Annie, Madonna on stage, as a kid, she was really big when I was growing up, or Martha Josie. That was one. She was a legend, barrel racing legend. I had a Martha Josie saddle for my horse, I remember. And women just setting records or being up there in the spotlight and accomplishing greatness. And it really had my attention. And I guess that little girl, looked up to those women, and I wanted it too, wanted to somehow have some kind of spotlight and greatness and success. It was very empowering and motivating to see that as a child.
Number 5, who believed in you most growing up?
My grandfather, my dad's dad. He really saw me and he really believed in me. He wanted me to be successful. He spent a lot of time with me. He spent a lot of time helping me, having horses growing up, and he was very supportive and very involved in that. And I really felt heard. I really felt that he listened, and he took an interest in me and in helping me be successful.
Number 6, what was your first job?
I started my work ethics at a very, very young age. I think at age 7 or 8, I sold Coca-Cola on the side of the road for 50 cents a can. My dad and I built this super cool like pyramid out of empty Coke cans, like hot glued them together and put them on this big plywood board and put up a sign. And I literally, with my radio jam box music, of course I had my music, probably like some, I don't know, New Kids on the Block or something, like Madonna, Belinda Carlisle, a jam at Taylor Dane. So anyway, hanging out there under a pine tree with my money and my Cokes and selling them. And I made $8 profit. That was my first job at 8. Moving on, I had a horse, at age 11, 12, and I was there every day cleaning stalls and taking care of my horse. And then from there, retail at the Gap. As soon as somebody would hire me, I had a job from forever.
But you can fold a mean sweater.
Yes, I can, actually. I still do the Gap fold.
Okay, number 7. When did you get your first big break in your career?
So I started real estate when I was 20. And so as a 20-year-old, it was difficult. People who are your age are not quite there yet in buying and selling. And people who are older, I don't know, maybe not have the confidence in you just yet. You look really young. You don't have the experience. I did have a couple of sales outside of this, but my first big break, I actually was offered and got a job doing on-site sales, being paid a salary. And this was like real estate boot camp. It was like a golf course community, on-site sales for a couple of years. And I learned so much doing that. I would say that would have been equivalent to 10 years in the business as an independent agent. It was a tremendous amount of experience. I would say that really helped me get my start in the business in terms of just educating me and learning the way.
What is the best part of being a badass?
Confidence is a word that comes to mind. I would say that I love being able to answer questions for clients that need answers. And because of the experience that I have, I'm confident that I can help and confident that I can answer those questions and pretty much get through anything. Also, I'm able to then create a life for my children. I have 2 little ones, 5 and 7, and so it feels good to be an independent mom of 2, and I'm able to provide for them and show them the way, to be an example for them. I love that. I love that I'm successful and can be an example for my girls.
I love that. Number 9, what do you get to do now that you never thought a woman could do growing up?
No, again, I don't know that I ever put those kinds of limitations. I don't think that I had limited beliefs in what a man could do or what a woman could do, or thinking in those terms.
That's cool. That's totally legit. Number 10, what are the 3 best pieces of advice you have for anyone listening to the podcast?
I would say 1 is to be crystal clear on your vision for life, for your life, how you want your life to look, what you want out of life, where you want to go. Be super laser focused and crystal clear on that. Also, 2 is to take action, to really face fears and push through. People need to understand, having been through some really difficult times, I feel like in adversity, you really don't know how strong you are until you're kind of pushed. And so when you face fears or you push through, or you take that leap, that's, I think, when your superpowers will ignite. Your superpowers ignite when you are really pushed and you're jumping and you have to figure things out. I think that's a special place. It could be a place of adversity. It could be a place of pain. I'm not saying self-inflicted pain. I mean things that you go through, decisions that you have to make that may be scary, and take action. Don't let your fears hold you back from moving towards the things that you know are in line with your truth and your destiny. And number 3, I would say not to forget to give and live. I think it's really important to help other people and to give back. Maybe share your knowledge and experience to help someone else going through something similar. And then also to live. You have to stop and smell the roses. For me, it's taking that special time with my children, tucking them in bed at night, dropping them off, picking them up from school, attending school functions, vacations, those little, times of life that you really need to stop and enjoy yourself as well. There's been some things, as I've gone through life, there have been some moments when I close my eyes and I kind of look at it just as a timeline. Those moments in life where I would say it's like your life is interrupted. When it's something that you've dreamed of and wanted so badly, something that you've built, you put your heart and soul into building, and something that you have achieved can be, in such a quick moment, completely disrupted and changed. And it's in those times I feel it's so important for people to tap in and harness that, to find their strength. I mean, you will find your strength. You'll figure out how strong you are and realize that you're a lot stronger than you thought you were. And to not give up. But I think in those times of adversity can really bring out the best in you, can really push you to those next levels. And I'm not saying to look for that. I'm just saying that if you're going through that, if you've been through something, to embrace it and to realize that you can do it and you can do anything you put your mind to. Just get super laser focused on what it is that you want your life to look like, and you can rebuild it. Always as a little girl, I wanted a horse so bad. I would dream about it, the way that their hooves sounded, stepping on the ground, and the way that horses smelled, and the way that the saddle creaked when you ride, and just everything. Like I just wanted it so bad. And I got it. I got a horse. I mean, I did lessons, and I hung out at a barn, and then eventually my grandfather helped me lease a horse, like kind of rented to see if I would take care of a horse. I didn't have a family in horses. This was just something inside of me that I wanted so bad. And I got a horse. They got me one, and I was there every day, and so I finally achieved this thing that I had dreamed of. I have obtained it. And I was even doing like these timed events every weekend. I spent going to the horse shows and doing like my barrel racing and climbing the ladder. And there was this one girl I was trying to beat. But I had a name in this little world, at like 12 years old. This was my world. One day we got a call. They had done some annual routine testing, and my horse had a positive Coggins. It can't be cured, and it's highly contagious, and your horse has to be quarantined and put down immediately. That was one pivotal moment for me, when it's something that you dream of, you build and you achieve, and then your world is just flipped over, in a moment, just one snap, it's done. Things can change just that quickly, in similar, in my marriage. And so when you're, a mom of two very small children, and you need to provide and pick up and, take care of them. Those are things where it's realigning yourself. It's changing your path and figuring out with the interruptions the best path forward.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Women of Real Estate podcast with the fabulous Brittney Pino. For more information about Brittney, check her out on Facebook, facebook.com/Pino and Associates. That's spelled Pino. For more information about this episode, head over to my website, sellmorelivemorecoaching.com. You can find me on social too. Just look for @Sara Kalke. If you like what you hear, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Simply give a star rating or write a little blurb on what you enjoy about the show. Just like in real estate, word of mouth and reviews help folks find us. Thanks for listening to the Badass Women of Real Estate podcast, recorded by Ferdinand Maingat and produced by Sarah Hoyles. Remember, if she can, we all can. I love that. I've loved watching your video program, like just every single day, putting yourself out there. And I think your video bloopers have got to be like one of my most favorite things. But I'm a blooper person. I love watching bloopers. I think they're like hilarious. And that you post them makes me just love you that much more. It's great.
I have so many more I could share. It's so funny.
That's good.